And finally tonight, the first in a three-part series on the safety of the nation's roads after an alarming rise in the number of highway traffic deaths. And an increasing number of U.S. drivers appear to be on a collision course with long-haul, big rig trucks. Eamon Javers has more.
A horrendous collision.
Terrible accident that left actor Tracy Morgan in critical condition.
New details are emerging tonight in the investigation into that fiery bus crash.
Tragedies like the Tracy Morgan and FedEx crashes grab the nation's attention, but they're anything but isolated incidents.
Very large explosion.
Happening nearly 11 times a day across the United States and causing nearly 4,000 fatalities, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. There are any number of causes, from driver error to fatigue and serious mechanical problems. In fact, federal regulators say 20% of trucks inspected on the road in 2013 had problems like faulty brakes or bad tires and shouldn't be on the road at all. That's over 2 million vehicles, and more than 170,000 drivers had enough violations to be pulled from behind the wheel.
It's an 80,000-pound missile, and when it hits somebody, it's catastrophic.
Dan Ramsdale is the founder of the Association of Plaintiff Interstate Trucking Lawyers of America.
Roughly 4,000 a year are killed in crashes with big trucks. It's the equivalent of a commuter jet that's got about 80 people on that plane. Having one of those jets crash and everybody on board dies every Friday of every week of every year.
Ann Farrow is the outgoing head of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, which is tasked with regulating interstate trucking. The trucking industry says it collected over $600 billion for carrying 9.7 billion tons of freight in 2013. Fatal truck crashes have gone up 18% from 2009 to 2012. But why are the fatal accidents going up instead of down?
We see it as a combination of economic growth, the health of our economy, intensified traffic on our roadways.
Any other industry that had 4,000 people killed, you'd see regulators shutting the entire industry down. Why isn't that happening in trucking?
The changes of safety oversight, of regulation, of industry practices themselves has resulted in a decline of truck crashes from about 5,000 a decade ago to 4,000 a day. But you're absolutely right. The increase from about 2009 to the present has continued to tick forward and tick upwards.
Just who is to blame for the growing number of truck crashes is the subject of a fierce and ongoing debate between the trucking lobby and advocacy groups. Dave Asecki is the top lobbyist for the American Trucking Associations.
According to all the data that we've seen, 70% of those crashes are initiated by, unfortunately, someone other than the truck driver, the car driver, the SUV driver. So we're responsible for about 30% of those crashes.
What are people doing wrong when they're out on the roads driving with trucks?
Motorists who aggressively pass trucks, who cut in front of trucks, who tailgate trucks, and who linger on the sides of trucks.
John Lannon is the executive director of the Truck Safety Coalition, an advocacy group for victims' families and truck crash survivors. He thinks it's the big rigs that are more often to blame.
Unfortunately, there's a cultural aspect that this industry has a tolerance, too high of a tolerance level for deaths and injuries, and we need to work on it.
For Nightly Business Report, I'm Eamon Javers.